Sure. Today is a press conference that the people of Thailand have already spoken their wish, and I am ready to be the Prime Minister for all, whether you agree with me or you disagree with me. I have congratulated Khun Paetongtarn from Pheu Thai for her hard-fought campaign and have invited her to join the coalition. And that includes 5 more parties in the previous opposition, including Phak Prachachart, Thai Sang Thai, Seri Rwam Thai, and Phak Pen Tham. So there will be a total of 6 parties that will amount to approximately 309 out of 500 in the lower house. And I think we can secure, safe to assume that we have secured the majority in forming the government going forward. And then we have established a contact point to make sure that we have an MOUs in order to form the coalition, as well as the transition team, to make sure that there's a smooth transition from the previous government to the next government. It's a clear transition of power that will minimize risk of what's going on in the country, economically, politically, and then we'll try to form the government as soon as possible to avoid any delay or vacuum going forward.
So Peter, why do you think your party did so much better than expected? People didn't predict this kind of outcome. What was the reason?
My team, my people. I think because of the hard work that they have done in the past. I mean, we have walked doors and doors and handouts. We didn't leave any stones unturned. So we try to communicate as much as possible. And then also the people of Thailand, I think the sentiment of the era has changed, and it's right. It was the right timing that people have been through enough of lost decade in the past decade, and today is a new day, and hopefully it's full of bright sunshine of hope going forward.
Peter, do you think that there will still be elements that are trying to prevent your government from forming or from exercising your rule to government, like the appointed senators or elements outside the parliament that may be standing in your way going forward?
I'm not worried, but I'm not careless. But with the consensus that came out of the election, it will be quite a hefty price to pay for someone who is thinking of abolishing the election results or forming a minority government. It's probably far-fetched from now, and I think the people of Thailand would not allow that to happen.
Have you been in touch with anyone applying for the past from the government coalition, for example, Pheu Thai, or have you also heard from the Prime Minister?
No, I haven't. I had made clear in the statements that I had made either I made the call or they made the call, which means establishing a communication channel with only 6 parties from the previous opposition parties.
Okay. Mr. Peter, the same question in English, please, about less majesty.
Yes, so we are going forward with the less majesty law amendment in the parliament. It's a law, so it's a legislative action, and we have secured 151 MPs, so we have enough to resubmit the law. Once again, we've done that 2-3 years ago, and we didn't have enough authority. Well, the House Speaker didn't allow it to happen, or some hiccups along the way, but we will pass that in this parliament, and will use the parliament to make sure that it's a comprehensive discussion with maturity, with transparency, and how we should move forward in terms of the relationship between the monarchy and the mass.
Is it fair to say that your party and your campaign have made less than just a mainstream campaign that is now arrived in the middle of the society for a discussion?
I think it's fair to say that it's the sentiment of the era that has changed. And the job or the duty of member of parliament is to speak on the behalf of people, is to pass progressive laws, is to make sure that we support the duty of the government. And that was my past duty. Now I'm the government, so hopefully that I'm not going to do what had been done to me.
Mr. Chanathon or Mr. Beerwood already been in touch with you?
Like regularly, so as part that they have been assisting the campaign. So I would like to take this opportunity to thank them both for helping out in the campaign.
There's a lot of opposition from people around one nation?
I mean, it's part of change. There's always resistance. But the way we resolved that conflict is more important. And that's really the duty of a parliament, for you to submit the law and amendment, whether you want it to be stricter or you want it to be on an international comparison. That's your right to pass that into the parliament and let the member of parliament discuss it on your behalf with transparency, with maturity, and then we'll resolve this conflict going forward on how the role of monarchy should be in the 21st century in Thailand.
How will you convince people that it should be changed?
With a lot of listening, with a lot of facts and with a lot of tolerance. I think that's very important on this issue. And also, what I didn't mention previously to his question, I think we really need to revise those that had been impacted by politically motivated cases, including 112, and that includes a lot of juvenile, the youngest in Thailand being the age of 15. So that's probably a couple initiatives that needed to be done in this country, with whether it's the amendment of law inside the parliament as well as revision of politically motivated case, just to make sure that there's fact-finding, there's accountability, and we have the new consensus for the new normal in Thai politics.
Mr. Peter, you have a young daughter, and it's the early days of your new government, but what kind of Thailand do you hope to leave behind once you're done?
Fully democratic system, more than personalized politics, very decentralized, a kind of economy that's fair and that works for everybody, not just the 1% on top, the ability to be flexible and adjust to the new challenges that are coming from the world, whether it's pandemic, digital disruption, climate change, aging society. So these are the things that will make them feel like they don't want to move out of the country and they want to be part of nation building in this country. I think in terms of foreign policy, it has to start with rule-based diplomacy. It's new world order is no world order, and it's not acceptable for bigger states to aggress smaller states no more. And mid-sized countries and Thailand have to stick together and contribute to the stability of the region as well as contribute to the world. So in terms of Myanmar, we want to push ahead to make sure that the 5-point consensus is really achieved. And with the proximity of Thailand and Myanmar, whether you call it an asset or a liability, without Thailand's presence, the 5-point consensus is not going to be achieved. And I think what we have to start off is to establish a humanitarian corridor between Thailand and Myanmar. It has been a protocol in the country for a long time. We have the legal basis to do it, given the past experience that we had gone through. So hopefully we'll start off with a humanitarian journey, especially with the Burma Act that passed the Congress in America. I think we can start that and work with the international community to make sure that we have the right amount of pressure and incentives for the people of Myanmar to resolve their own conflicts. In terms of Sino-American rivalry, I think given the state of the world today, the instability in the region is not going to favor anyone. So I think we need to stick to the rules of what's possible and not possible, and be able to think of foreign policy more as an a la carte and not a buffet. It's not about taking sides all the time, but it's really making sure that there's an a la carte of policies that's a mutual benefit for both countries, whether it's Thailand and America or Thailand and China or Thailand or any other countries. But I think it's really important for the global citizens to stick together and make sure that the world going forward is going to be a rule-based world, rather than to make sure that right is might and might is not right. I think that's what we had to make sure, make it loud and clear for the global citizens all around the world.